Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katie Ray. I am joined with the amazing Brittany Eguia. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you might have heard her last name because her brother-in-law and husband were on for Brotherly Love episode, but I figured I'd bring the queen of the house in, Brittany, to really talk about just life. You have a 2-year-old. You have just changed industries for jobs and career. You stay fit and healthy, or fit mom, hashtag moms who lift. So I wanted to bring you on because I feel like you're very inspirational. You know, you have good days, you have bad days. It's kind of just talking about how you get through that. So thanks.
Yeah, of course.
So let's jump in.
I'm excited.
So let's talk about career. You went from government job, feeling to the stability. You had, what was Torres, 1.5 when you leaped? It's been about 6 months, or?
I left in December.
Oh, shit.
So.
Very recent.
Yeah.
So that's a really hard decision. How did you decide to go into real estate? What was it that really pushed you?
Well, I was in my government job for over 10 years, and for the past 2 years, I was just doing real estate on the side. It was something that I was always interested in and wanted to do, and it was actually my husband, Reno, that gave me that extra push. He said, just do it. So I started doing it for 2 years on the side, and my government job was didn't give me a lot of freedom. I was working 24/7. It was taking away from quality time with my son. So I made the very drastic decision one day. I wasn't planning on leaving that day, but I did. Just walked in and you know, enough was enough. And now full-time into real estate, full force, would never look back. It was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I really, really go to work every day and love my job.
That's amazing. And you were a supervisor, so you had people under you. You had a team of people, and now you're just you.
Now I'm just me.
It's kind of crazy. Well, it's kind of awesome, too, because your work ethic stems from when you were younger, just being in gymnastics and sports and everything, right? And cheerleading, competitive cheerleading. And I think people don't realize that those competitive sports actually totally lead your work ethic. Yeah. I watch my husband will take any job and just work his hardest just from being in collegiate sports and stuff. So
teaches you a lot of self-discipline.
Yeah, it really does. And as much as people are like, oh, they don't like that sport, it's like, get kids into something that they have a responsibility for. I feel like it just gets them going.
I agree. Yeah.
And now that you only have to rely on yourself, is it like freedom for you because you know how hard you work?
It is freedom. The freedom to making your own schedule. But at the same time, I'm very, very busy. And I know it's because of my own self-discipline and I'm my
pressure.
Own worst critic. And I'm very, very hard on myself. So I definitely pack my schedule every single day to the max just to, you know, see how good I can do.
And when you took that leap, what was there a final straw, or were you eventually going to do it? Were you in your head, you're like, I'm eventually going to just do real estate. I'm eventually going to do this, but there was just something that clicked?
That was both. There was a final straw, but it was a goal of mine. It was a goal of mine to be able to transition full-time. It happened sooner than I initially thought I was going to, but look, in hindsight, you know, everything happens for a reason. I'm a true believer of that. And it was literally the best thing that could have ever happened.
That's good. And what about your hard days? Because real estate's kind of like what the effort you put into, right? So like, how do you get through like the hard days, or the hard buyers, or the hard sellers?
Gosh. I mean, it's stressful. I can't even sit here and say that real estate's not stressful, especially in the market. You know, we're seeing never before market trends right now in the industry. You know, my government job was very, very stressful as well. So I think I've conditioned on being able to deal with those stressful days. The gym is the number one stress reliever for me. The gym is a must almost every single day. And then, of course, my family, my husband, my son, my mom, my siblings, they're the people that I really lean on a lot. My friends, So those
support
are my
system.
my support system is the best. But the gym is a big stress reliever for me. If I'm having a bad day, I go to the gym and suddenly everything's better.
I mean, at least you know that, right? That's a super important thing. I feel like the gym could be a stress reliever for a lot of people if they realize just how you feel afterwards. But you're in competitive now, like strength and everything. So how were you able to, you maintained it during pregnancy, right? You
Yes, I did
yeah.
my entire pregnancy. Yes.
And then afterwards having that, what was it, 6 weeks? Were you like a mess for waiting?
As far as not being able to work out? Oh, yes.
Were you like,
terrible. I was going
there.
for walks. From the second I could go for a walk, I was going up the Pinellas County Trail. I was doing anything. I was pushing boundaries for sure.
But you needed to, and you knew you needed to.
Yeah, just for my own mental health, I needed to at least get moving. Even if taking my son for a walk in a stroller, whatever I could do just to get moving, I would definitely do. But yes,
I think that's so important for you to show moms, like your health, your mental health, your wellness is so important. Like, yes, we all drop everything. You gave birth, like, oh my God, you have a little human, but still, like, how are you can go for your walks. You can go stay healthy, eat right. So I think that's huge. And you did it continuously during your pregnancy and after. And that, I think that's one of the most important things to show women. Having 3 children over here, my first, I totally stopped everything for myself because I didn't know how to really, and it totally fucked me up. So I think that's a huge thing women can really follow you for.
So important. I'm a true believer on you have got to take care of yourself too. You've got to do things that make you happy. My husband is a huge person on you still have to do things in your marriage to make each other happy too. You still need to make your marriage a priority. You still need to make yourself a priority as well as your kids. But yourself and your marriage can't take a back seat either. Those are, still just as important.
That is. And I'm glad you both have those values because the kids see it, and that's important for them.
Right.
Even though if they say ill a lot, like Jaden, if we give each other a kiss, it's hilarious. So like, oh, and you're like, I love that age.
I'm trying to get to that stage.
Yeah.
Or is it too little yet? But yeah.
He's like, whatever.
But I think that's great for them to see. Yeah. They see that mommy and daddy love each other. And I think that's great.
And they're important and the value behind that. So with real estate, have you noticed that sometimes buyers, and this isn't like putting down your bias, but they're very needy. So you have to set those boundaries right away, or if they're, because a lot of times you hear like realtors be like, I get calls at night, but I mean, people are off work. So you kind of understand that. But is there any type of boundaries that you've had to set in the beginning, or is it a lot of people that you've had so far?
Both, know and don't know. As far as needy, no, I mean, that's okay. That's what I'm there for. I don't care if my buyers are needy. That's what I'm there to help them and serve them. I'm doing a job for them. That's what I get paid for. So if they need me, at 9:00 at night, then I'll be there to help them at 9:00 at night. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm very, very open and flexible, and whatever they need, I'll be there for them. Yes, you do have the more needy ones, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me.
You already knew going in. And I feel like you just got a new house, right?
I did.
So you kind of have both ends of the spectrum where you know about selling and buying. So like brand new experience in this market is probably really important. How was that for you, being on that side, like as the buyer, like going in?
Me buying a house myself? Oh my gosh.
Picky as shit now because you know so much.
Yeah, and I mean, it's stressful. I don't care who you are. It's fun, but it's also a stressful experience when you're going through it yourself. It's a crazy market out there right now. It's insane. So and
you started when it was crazy, right?
A couple years ago, it was not like this.
Oh, when you just started like doing, I guess, like
it's the market has completely
shifted.
Now, as far as we have a lot of buyers and not a lot of inventory.
That's crazy. So what is that for you? Like learning something new? What's your inspiration on at any age you can learn a whole new industry? Because you really have, especially with the market change.
Oh, gosh, you can. I am a true believer if you can do what you put your mind to. Do not listen to what anybody else says to you or even tries to put you down. If you want to do it and you can put your mind to it, you can do it. do what makes you happy. It's, life is so short. And if you're in a profession or a job where you're just not happy, you need to do what, makes you happy. I'm just a true believer on make that plunge, take that leap.
I feel like you show that in everyday life with weights to mom life to work life.
I am a true believer on just live your life happy. Spend your life with people that care about you. Don't waste your time on anything else.
Yeah, on bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things, like, what are your goals in real estate? I feel like I have a lot of friends now in real estate, so it's like a new journey for me as well. Because I feel like you guys are learning so much with the shifts and how expensive houses are.
Right.
Yet people need them all. Like, people want them all right now. I feel like I get calls too that are telling me to sell my house all the time. Like the random call, like fucking someone at a call center is calling people. What do you think is your first goal in real estate? Of course, to make money, but like what do you want to achieve with real estate?
I just want to continue to learn and continue to get better. There is so much to learn in this industry, and there's so many different directions you can take in this industry. The sky is the limit, and I just want to continue to serve my clients, better each day with more knowledge. Every day I feel like I learn something new. But I just want to continue to grow and get bigger. Myself, I would love to, open my own brokerage one day. I would, those are the dreams that I would love to have. But I want to make sure that I have all of the knowledge possible before I do.
How many, because you're in a real estate group right now, right?
I just work for a really small brokerage. It's just me and 2 other people.
Oh, I love that.
I absolutely love it.
Oh my gosh. So how did you get involved with that rather than those big ones that people are all a part of? That's amazing.
I did work for a really big one at one time. Then I went to a little smaller one, and they were absolutely amazing. They were amazing people.
Oh, I love that.
And then I decided to go to this little mini brokerage. And to be honest, the reason why I did it is for one-on-one mentorship. It's so important when it comes to being a successful real estate agent.
Well, I feel like realtors get lost in the chaos of the huge firms or whatever you call them. But knowing that you're a part of like a small group is awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So did they ask you, or were you like, I'm on board?
It was just my husband met somebody through work that owned his own brokerage, and just one thing led to another, and
Reno does know. Thank you for being good for something, Reno. I'm just kidding. And I think that is important that he was that voice in your head, because I feel like you've been the voice in his head when you started something new with training. And I feel like that's such a perfect example of a support system and a strong marriage, because at a time when you can't make that decision, you kind of need that extra push. Right. And now you're here and happy, and mental health is fucking huge. Yeah. Especially as a mom, because you have a little human running around staring at you all the time. So being competitive in everything you do.
Yeah, I am. I will say.
How hard is it being a mom and just kind of not, like, you can't control like how your kid, starts growing. So how is that for you? Because I feel like in every aspect, you have a sense of control: work, career, health and wellness, family. But like watching another human, I feel like we have to take that. For me, it was a lot of letting go of like what I expect. But how's that been for you? Because you're super like me, competitive times like 100. Yeah. I've known Brittany for like 15 years.
At least 15 years. I think it was around then.
Yeah. So like I know like she is very not like controlling, but like you are able to, set up but with kids, it's like, there's no fucking way.
I have control over everything, but except for my little crazy, perfect little man. Yes, he is. It's hard. I mean, parenting is the number one hardest job that you'll ever have. I mean, you're trying to raise this little human to be the best, and most productive little thing in society, but it's difficult because you don't have control over it.
You really don't.
And you just try, I just try my best to instill good values and stuff in him every day, and just pray that it works out for me on the other side. He's super active. You guys are super active. Has a mind of his own, which is great, and I love that. He's a tough little one.
Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps me on my toes. Yeah.
You're like, so that's something people don't realize. Like, you can't, when you go into parenthood, like there's no manual.
No.
Like read a book, sure, but that's not going to tell you shit.
One thing doesn't work for every kid.
No, my kids are so different.
Right.
But it is fun. It's fun to be able to like let go and like learn that you can let go of some things.
And honestly, it's the best. I mean, it's good to not have control of everything. He teaches me so much.
And so mentally, how hard was that? Because I think pregnancy is just a mental
fuck. My gosh.
Like you're like, oh my God, I'm amazing. I'm growing a human. But for you, that limited you for a lot of a lot of things that you do. So mentally, how were you able to just try to stay positive? Because listen, people will be like, oh my God, my pregnancy was so perfect. Everything was perfect. And you're like, really? You didn't feel like a balloon once? But like, how was that for you? Like staying focused, like I'm growing a human right now. I'm not going to be able to do this one thing I usually do, or muscle up, like, or something like that.
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it was easy. It's not. It was, I had the most blessed pregnancy. My pregnancy was great. I wasn't sick. Yeah. I felt great. It couldn't have went any better, but at the same time, it was hard. It's very, really hard to everything that you do legit from the time you get up till the time you go to bed is completely limited. So it was hard, but I did just always just try to enjoy, that moment as hard as it is sometimes. Well, I really did try to enjoy it. I wasn't somebody that said, I love being pregnant. That would be a lie.
Yeah.
But I did try to enjoy the process.
It's hard. Yeah. You just kind of focus back in. Right. And Torres was a rainbow baby how many years after? Like right after or?
Oh, no. It was years. We tried for him. We had a lot of bumps along the way. But we tried for him for a few years.
And then the anxiety from just being pregnant and then being limited for your stress relief. Right? So it was like a mental
because you just didn't know if it was going to actually, go through because we had ones that didn't. And it was just the constant worry in the back of my head. And that was another reason why it was hard is that I was constantly worried that something was going to go wrong. Right.
And I feel like your anxiety, you're able to balance out with working out and doing this and getting to that level.
Get my mind off of things. Right.
And then when you're limited, even though you worked out the whole time, which was great, but you're limited to your normal, like you're not going to do a muscle up with your stomach.
No, but I was very grateful that I was still able because I'm so active, so I was still able to continue that through.
That is huge.
Which to me was really important for my own mental health as well.
What was the feeling when you finally gave birth to Torres? Was it just like a relief from just like seeing him in the flesh, like just in your arms?
My mom always said you'll never know that feeling until it makes me like teary-eyed. Until you experience it yourself, and nothing is further from the truth.
Yeah. It was super intense. I know Reno tells the story of him just like, you could do it, Britt, just push it. So
no, that's not how he was. No, he was freaking out on the couch. He was trying to
But he was like a coach. He was like a coach. I always laugh. We called Chris. We're like, can you just get out? Stop telling me to breathe right now. Like, stop.
He was very supportive and great. He was amazing. But inside, he was also freaking
Oh my gosh, yeah. And people don't put that in like, he's not doing the physical aspect of it, but they're freaking out too.
Right. I think
your spouse is totally
on them.
For sure.
You're powerless.
Yeah, you can't do anything except I always laugh at Chris. We called him a doodler by the end because his tips weren't really tips. They were like, just don't forget to breathe. And I'm like, shut up.
Sure by number 3, he was a pro.
Yeah, you would think. He knew to go to the corner when my epidural came. Yeah. Because he doesn't like needles. I was like, are you seriously getting comfortable? You didn't, though. You didn't do any
I didn't.
Natural.
Did everything all natural, yeah. I'm not a needle kind of girl.
Because you probably got like 100 questions. If you ever do it again, would you do it all natural?
Absolutely. Yep.
So you'll get yes and no's for that from a lot of moms. Yeah, but you figured it out. The breathing, all the shit.
God willing. Yep, God willing, I will.
Gosh. Intense. Okay, so Torres is 2. You're on a new career.
Yeah.
Reno's been in a steady spot for a while now, I feel like.
He has, but he's in the process of a little career change as well. We are just always in, we're really good about talking to each other about, what can we do just to make our lives better, make, our son's lives better, or, just prepare us for retirement and our future a little bit better. So where he's actually in a transition now, I don't think he'll ever quit personal training. No. It's his number one love. But just a little bit more of a transition as far as a career too. He's taking a complete leap himself.
I love that. I think that is such a beautiful thing to watch in any couple, is to see that change is inevitable, support is needed, but to really see that you guys are just trying to find the spot that makes you the happiest, the strongest.
Right.
And if it seems selfish to other people, it's not. Like, it's where you're mentally the healthiest. I think that's amazing.
We would have been, it's not selfish. It's just that it's to make our mental health better. It's just to make us happier as people.
Yes.
And like you said, change is good, and it's a good thing.
And it takes like lifetimes for people to get there. And the fact that you guys are there being so young is so important, because that's what it is. Society will be like, oh, that's a selfish move, or you're not in a stable spot and it's like, no, this is my stable spot. Like, I know what brings me happiness. It's not always the every week paycheck where I'm miserable going into work. It's where I know I can do like the most. And I love that. I think that's super inspirational.
Right. And I read something, it was like a meme or something that, if something were to happen to you, your job would post your position the next week or the next month. But your family will mourn for, ever. And it's just, you need to always put your family first.
That's so true though. In a second, your job will be posted. Right. And that is something to think about, especially on like hard days, like you got to go to. Is there any music, quotes, books, or anything that you go to on a hard day? Say you're driving to
I'm not really a reader. I just don't have time, but I am.
Quotes are good.
I want to do like
good.
The audiobooks.
Yeah.
I really want to start getting into those because I drive so much now. But quotes, I'm very much on self-motivation quotes. I follow this account on Instagram. They're called Women on Top. They have the best inspirational quotes every day. They just get me pumped up for my day. I love self-motivation.
I do too. I think sometimes those words just kind of get you in a different spot, because social media is like a hit or miss, right? Like it'll fuck you up, comparison mode, or it'll give you that like one shift of just like, oh, okay, I'm fucking hyped today.
Right.
My thing is too, like I've finally jumped into a stage in my life where it's like as guilt trip as I get from my kids, or like they're like, oh, you're leaving for the whole day for podcast, and I'm like, yeah, like this is something I love to do, but it's like, no, if I'm not happy, you're not going to be happy. Like it's just
true. It's so
I'm never going to ignore them. Like, oh no, I'm not going to talk to you guys when I get home. But like it's so important. I think you're at such a good state, and it's been 4 months in, right? 4 months in.
Yeah, about 4
and you're feeling good, and you felt the hard days and you felt the good days, and it's like knowing.
Yeah. It's definitely, when you hear those, real estate agents work so hard, and it's a lot of behind the scenes work that nobody knows goes into this. It's not just go in and write up a contract. There's a lot of work, and it's stressful. I'm not sugarcoating it. Being a real estate agent is cutthroat business, and it's very stressful. But I also enjoy it a lot. So it doesn't, when you enjoy something so much, that stress isn't so
and you're
bad,
giving that person, that couple, that little family, like a new house to start new.
You get to meet new people all the time, and I love meeting new people.
I love that.
So you get to meet new people, and it's all different walks of life, and I really like that.
Now, I know with like COVID and everything, you're super close to your mom and your fam, Pennsylvania, right? Mm-hmm. And how hard was that for you, especially like transitioning into a new job and stuff? And was she supportive the whole way? Was she excited for you? Was it hard? She's like one of your best friends.
Oh, for me transitioning from my
and not having like
Oh my gosh. Well, she was one of the very first people I called before I left my government job. I needed for her to tell me that it was okay.
I know. We still need our parents. Thank you for making that clear.
Oh my gosh. I need my mom so much. I I have the greatest support system between my mom and my dad and my stepmom. And as far as my parents, and grandparents and everything, I'm very blessed in that realm. But my mother-in-law, they're all amazing.
You're like, yo, I'm about to leave. Should I do this?
But no, I literally called my mother, and I had to make my mom and my husband, and I needed their permission to be able to do it.
I feel you.
But yeah.
You need that little validation, right? Like, because you feel it, but you're just like, I need that little push.
That support, and just your mom saying, like, it doesn't matter. We'll
figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, we'll make sure we get it done. Like, just your happiness is the most important.
Well, that is important. So what is some advice you want to leave with today with my billion listeners? Yeah. 1,000,005 listeners? What's some advice?
You might have 1 billion.
Yeah, one day we will. I love it. After my episode, you're welcome.
The biggest life lesson I've learned over these last few months is, like I just said earlier, do what makes you happy. If you're going into your 9-to-5 or whatever the case may be, whatever job it is, if you are a stay-at-home mom and, you want to change, or you're in that 9-to-5, or, do it. What's holding you back? Your life is so short. You never know when your life is coming to an end, and you want to, live life happy. Do, what makes you happy. I feel like high school and, society, they just teach you to go to high school, go to college, go get a job, that 9-to-5 job.
So archaic, right?
But they don't ever teach you about, like, money and success and, wealth and you don't need a college degree. Maybe college isn't your thing, and that's okay. But there's lots of other things you can do to be successful. You don't have to follow that, everyday thing. Just do what makes you happy. For so long, I didn't do what made me happy. And now that I made that plunge, it's the best thing I've ever done. So now I'm a huge preacher of just do what makes you happy. Spend time with those people that make you happy.
That's good. That's an amazing shift from just like getting up, going to work, and now getting up like excited for work.
Right. And, still so busy. My life is still so chaotic, but in my way chaotic, it's
a good chaotic. There's always some good chaotic.
And if I want to go to my, kids' soccer game or whatever, I don't have to worry about it. I make the rules of my life, so it's nice.
I love that. And I love that you thought he was going to play soccer and not tackle people in football. That was sweet of you.
So I'm sure he'll do that too. My husband will make sure he plays football. But I think we're going to sign him up for soccer first.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Soccer's the best for the kids, even if we're not good at it. I'm not good at it. But I love that, Britt. So thank you for joining.
Of course.
Where can we find you if we need help with real estate?
If you need help with real estate, you can email me at brittanyeguia.com or on my Instagram. That is Lee, Lee _Britt, BRITT _18.
Because she's 18. It's your birthday, right?
That's it.
Isn't it your birthday?
April 18th.
Yeah,
yep,
that's because it's my dad, so I always remember yours.
Yep.
Okay, so you can find Brittany on Not a Great Whisperer podcast page, on katyray.com, at The Real K-Ray. We are at BKN Creative Studios today. Thank you for joining. I hope you had fun. What timing, too. I've asked Brittany, we've talked about her coming on the podcast for like a year. We've done this for 2 years now.
Time, yeah.
And now just such an awesome shift. She joined, so it was like such a cool shift, too.
It was a perfect timing,
it is.
Actually.
So you can find her on that. Like our page. We're in Ybor City. Thanks. We're out.